Alrighty. Well, thank you for coming and joining us for the webinar today. We are going to be talking about hygiene, as you mentioned. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we can get started. Okay, so like we said, we're talking about hygiene and privacy today. I am Chrissy. I am a graduate student. I'm at Wilmington University, and I am partnering with the Down Syndrome Association to help give you some information and some tools to build good hygiene habits. We do want to talk about safe people. Define your safe person. A safe person is someone that you feel comfortable with, that you trust, and that you can go to if you have any questions or need guidance on these topics. It could be someone you live with, it could be a family member, or it could be a caregiver provider, someone who's gone through some of these things as well. Some of the things that we're going to be talking about today: hygiene. What is it? Why does it matter? Some of the hygiene basics. What are some things that we're doing every day to practice good hygiene? We're going to be talking about public and private. So, the different places and what are private or public behaviors. What are the things that we do when we're in public or private? Using the toilet, we're going to talk about the steps and proper ways to keep ourselves clean, and getting changed, having clean clothes, showering independently, making sure that we are following the steps and understanding how to properly wash ourselves. Anything to do with handling or touching our private parts, so parts that we usually have covered and that we keep just for ourselves. How to check your body to make sure that we're in good health. So, what signs are we looking for a healthy body versus a body that needs a little bit more attention? And proper grooming. So, brushing your hair, cutting your nails, stuff like that. And managing smells. So, we're making sure that we're wearing deodorant and covering the sweat and the sneaky smells that can come with being a grown up or a teen. And first off, we're just going to talk about privacy. And so everyone has a right to privacy. And privacy means that you have the right, you have the choice to keep things to yourself. And that includes your body, your things, or what you're doing. Also can include your thoughts or your opinions. You have the right to keep that information to yourself and not to share with others. Privacy also means that no one else can see, hear, or access you. So when you're doing things in private, you're usually doing them behind closed doors. Typically, we lock the door. This is something that I would talk to with the people that you live with, just to make sure everyone is on the same page, and how to let people know that that you need some privacy. Mm. So outside of that, we also have public places. So the difference between public and private is who can see, hear, or access you. Public places are open to everyone. You cannot control who comes in and out of that situation or what they're doing. You also can't stop who can hear your conversations or see what's going on. Um, Private places, again, we usually have the doors closed. It's cut off. Not everyone has access to a private place. Let's think about maybe some place you need a membership for. Um, like Costco. Not everyone can go in and shop at Costco. You need a membership. It is private. So there are barriers or things stopping you from entering that place without permission. And in public, anyone can just go and access these places at any point. So here we have a shopping mall. Is a shopping mall a private or is it a public place? And if you don't mind unmuting your mic, and then I can hear you. Do you think it's a public place or a private place, a shopping mall? It is a public place. So a shopping mall is public because anyone can go to the mall. There's plenty of people around. And so if other people are around you, you are in a public place. All right. And then a community pool. So a community pool, what do we think? Public or private? So a community pool, there's other people around. We see some people splashing in there, and it's open to other people. So if other people are around and other people can access it, it is a public place. And then what about a school bus? Is this a public place or a private place? Usually there's other people on a school bus. Other people can see, hear you. So if there's other people around, it will be a public place. Now, what about a bathroom? Let's think about some things that we would do in a bathroom. And is this something that we would want privacy for or to be alone for? Or is this a place where we would want to prevent other people from coming into, well, while we're using it? So a bathroom is a private, sorry, a bathroom is private. Um, a bathroom is private because we typically change our clothes or are removing clothes. This is something that's intimate or private because it deals with our body. Other things that we do, we're using the toilet, we're showering, we're doing other grooming things, getting ready. And typically we want our own space or privacy to do that. And then what about a bedroom? Is a bedroom a private or public place? And this can be tricky too, because sometimes you share bedrooms with other people, but bedrooms are typically private. Typically, with bedrooms, it's a place just for you or places for your things and to hold those things. So, other people don't freely have access to your room. Even parents or other siblings or family members typically still would knock to enter your bedroom just to make sure that you are decent and that you are ready for visitors. So, if the door is shut or even if it's cracked, typically that means that you are looking for privacy. If the door is locked as well, might be when you're changing and other doing other things in private. Okay. You might be checking your private parts, again, the places that we keep covered, or you might be looking at other things, maybe on your phone, your computer, your tablet. That should be kept for you and yourself. Public activities. Some public activities that we do are anything we do with other people around. So anytime we leave the house, especially, it will be a public place usually. So, if we're going shopping, if we're eating lunch in a cafeteria or a mall, if we're playing at a park, if we're interacting with other people, it is a public activity in a public place. And it could also be waiting at a bus stop um, or participating in a local sports game. These are all things that you're doing in public with other people. Private activities are things that we do in private. We do it alone when no one else is around, and we usually do it with closed or locked doors. Okay, so again, we're going to be showering, using the toilet, changing. We don't want other people to see, hear, or access us when we're doing things in private. All right, so hygiene. What does it mean? Why do we do it? Why does it matter? So, hygiene is anything that we do to keep our bodies healthy or clean, that we manage our bodies and keep it maintained. So, building healthy habits can take time and practice, but doing the steps over and over and just taking our time with them can usually help. And it's normal to make some mistakes or forget steps here and there, and that's okay. That's why we practice it. But the more we do it and the more frequently we do it, the better we will become at doing these skills and the better chance we'll have at remembering to do them. But there are tools and tips on how to start making this a little bit more easy for us and to integrate those into what we do daily. So, hygiene deals with cleaning. And so, we're using soap and water. We're brushing our teeth with toothpaste. Um, we're doing things like washing our hands, okay, washing our face. And the one main thing about hygiene that I want to note is that it prevents us from getting sick and from smelling. So, if we don't practice hygiene, all this dirt and bacteria and dead skin, it piles up on our bodies or other areas on our body. If we don't brush our teeth, then those bacteria and germs can grow and it can cause our mouth to be sore. It can cause us to smell and it can cause us to get infections. So, one easy way to keep us away from germs and to keep us practicing good hygiene is to wash our hands and to wash them often. We want to make sure that we're doing this correctly in order to actually make sure that the germs are getting cleaned. But the best way to do it, you can sing the alphabet. You can sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star to give you an idea of how long it should be. Itsy Bitsy Spider or Happy Birthday, you can sing it twice. And that'll be about the time it takes to properly wash and clean your hands. And of course, you can add a little bit of time before and after to make sure you are adjusting the water temperature, that you're getting paper towels and properly drying your hands. And then the easiest way as well to turn off a faucet to make sure it's clean is to, if you're using paper towel or napkin, is to turn the faucet off with that paper towel or napkin so we don't get germs back on our clean hands. We want to make sure that we're cleaning our hands anytime that they look physically dirty. So if it looks like there's marks on there, there's dirt on there, or we know that we touched something sticky, that's a great time to wash our hands. And then also before we're eating and always after we're using the bathroom, touching anything dirty or public, and anytime after like handling snot, your hands are in your mouth, anytime like that when your hands are dirty.
Today, we're going to learn the science behind the 20-second hand wash, or as we like to call it, the birthday wash.
Happy birthday!
Question: why do we wash our hands? Answer: to get rid of germs. Germs are tiny organisms that invade plants, animals, and people, and they can make you sick. They're so tiny that you need a microscope to see them. And because you can't see them with your eye, it's easy to forget that they even exist. These sneaky little invaders get into our bodies, and we don't even know it until we have symptoms that tell us that we've been attacked. That's why we need to destroy these germs. And here's how we do it. The outer part of a germ is a layer of fat that allows germs to easily stick to places, like your hands. And they don't come off very easily. So what does it take to remove them? Soap. This may seem like the obvious answer, but let us explain why. Because germs are coated with an outer layer of fat, when you rinse your hands with just water, the water washes right over them, not really getting rid of them. How is that possible? Let me show you. Take this jar of water. When we add a liquid fat, like oil, to the water, what happens? They separate and don't mix. Now let's add soap into the mixture and see what happens. The soap causes the fatty oil to break down and dissolve in the water. Crazy, right? But here's the kicker. This process of the soap breaking down the fat molecules takes a specific amount of time to occur. Anyone want to guess how long that process takes? 20 seconds. And that is why the 20-second hand wash rule is recommended. When the soap breaks down the germ molecules, the water rinses off the disinfected remnants down the drain, destroying these invisible invaders. So the next time you go to wash your hands, you can call yourself a scientist, because you'll be performing a science experiment that kills germs.
Alrighty, so just like we wash our hands, we want to also wash our face. And typically, washing our face day and night, we'll do it twice a day, helps to prevent what we call pimples or acne. And acne or pimples are these little red dots you'll see on the screen. They can be by themselves, just like a little dot on your face, your shoulder, your neck, your back, your chest, really anywhere that you get sweat. Or you can collect dirt that clogs your skin and your pores. You can get acne. And so acne can show up as little red dots. Sometimes they have pus, and so they look like white, or they're called whiteheads. And we also have blackheads. And again, just using a light, gentle face wash or soap with warm water and scrubbing around your face um, will help prevent some of these pimples. Now, acne is caused by a few different things. It's caused by hormones or changes in the body throughout the month. It can also be caused by um, sweating and oils and dirt and bacteria. So sometimes if we have dirty hands and we touch our face, it's spreading, and that can give us pimples. Pimples can be a little um, irritating or hurt. They could be a little sore at times, but it's typically best to leave them alone. We don't want to really touch them because then we're spreading the dirt around. And we want to try to make sure if we are touching our face that we're touching it with clean hands, just like we want to wash our face with clean hands first so that we're not spreading the dirt around. Okay. All right. And then we want to check our bodies as well to make sure that we're safe, happy, healthy, clean. And so, about once a month, we want to make sure that we can do self body checks. And so, we're going to look for a couple different things. But one of the first things that you can check for is if you have any moles or any like birthmarks, any dark spots. You want to check and see if they're getting any darker, if they're growing and getting bigger in size, um, if they change shape. Then those are all indicators that maybe you should get it checked out by a doctor. It could be safe, but it's always best to know. So if you notice any changes into moles or birthmarks, then we want to bring that to someone's attention. And you'll see a picture here on the screen. It shows some examples of what normal moles will look like and what abnormal or, you know, changing moles might look like, ones that need to be checked out. We also want to look for lumps and bumps. So, especially if there's any new lumps or bumps on our body, if the tissue underneath the skin is getting a little thicker, then that's also something to check. For women and girls, once a month, you want to check your breast for any lumps or bumps for breast cancer. You want to check your chest and your breasts, you want to check around your and under your armpits and the side of your chest. And you can use 2 fingers in little circular motions, um, just to feel around and notice any changes or differences. And you want to use light, medium, and high pressure when you're doing that. So you can ask your safe person or a doctor also to help with this exam. Also, once a year, women will go for their annual pap smear that checks for cervical cancer. And that's usually done at your obstetrician or OBGYN, your gynecologist. And typically they'll let you know when it's time to do that. But usually, if you're between 24 and 65, you want to get checked for a pap smear. And then men will also go for exams annually to check their testicles or their balls and their prostate to make sure that they also are free from cancer, any lumps, bumps, or issues. Other things that we want to check on our body, we want to look for any signs of infection. So, what does an infection look like? That is anything that is any redness that's not normally on our body, any swelling, if there's any pus, if we have any soreness or tenderness, or any discharge. So, any like fluids that are coming out of areas that don't typically have that discharge, or if it's coming out more excessively than it typically does, or if it's a different color or smell. So any odd things that we notice on our body that weren't there before would definitely be something to check out and at least track. You can take pictures of your body a couple of times throughout the month or a couple times throughout the year just to make sure that you have an idea what your body did look like before to track if there are new changes coming. And then the last thing we want to check for our self health body checks are our mouth. A lot of issues in our body stem from the mouth. So we want to make sure that our mouths are very clean and maintained. We want to make sure that we are um, checking for any sores. You'll see a picture here of someone's lip that has a sore on it. So that might be something to look for and notice. These can be common, but it is something we want to try to avoid. And so, in order to do this, we want to make sure that we're brushing our teeth properly. Other than that, you might notice some aches or sensitivity if your teeth feel very sensitive to warm or cold water, to touch, or when you're chewing, or even if you're swallowing, you might notice some of that. Also, any tenderness in your gums or any swelling or redness in your gums. And you want to look for any plaque buildup. So if there's a lot of plaque on your teeth, it's gonna give it more chance to breed bacteria that can get you sick and cause some diseases. So, how do we brush our teeth, and why do we brush our teeth? So, we want to make sure that you are brushing at least twice a day, typically in the morning when you're getting up and getting ready, and then before you go to bed or settle down, um, typically after you're done eating for the day as well. If you are able to, you can carry a travel toothbrush and travel oral hygiene products. So, like floss, you can bring that or like little travel mouthwash. And if you are bringing a toothbrush, just make sure that it has a cover or a little case to bring it in to make sure that it stays clean and away from other germs. You always want to make sure that you're flossing after you eat, just to make sure that you're getting anything in between your teeth and your gums. Sometimes, especially if you're eating like pulled chicken or an apple or something with seeds, those things can get stuck in your teeth, and it's best to use floss to get that out prior to brushing your teeth. When you brush your teeth, you only really need about the size of the pea. So you'll see a picture on here of a green P next to the toothbrush, and that's about how much toothpaste we should be using. You don't need to use too much, but you also want to make sure that you are using enough to really get in between, around your teeth, your gums, and on your tongue. So you do not want to forget to brush your tongue, because your tongue holds a lot of bacteria. And again, those bacteria can get you sick, but also smell bad. So your bad breath is caused by bacteria on your tongue. So you can just scrub that as well when you're brushing your teeth. And then toothpaste is not meant to be swallowed. So make sure that you're checking your toothpaste labels, but for the most part, you want to make sure that you are not swallowing it. You can do a good rinse and spit, um, or look for specifically toothpaste brands that you're able to swallow. And then this video is going to give us some details on how to brush your teeth properly, and it is 2 minutes. So we want to make sure that we're brushing our teeth for 2 minutes every single time. So you can play this song when you're brushing your teeth. You can play other songs that are about 2 minutes, and I can give some suggestions to anyone that has questions about that too, if we need it.
So much to learn about, it'll make you want to shout, Blippi! Nobody wants a toothache. So wet your toothbrush and get your toothpaste. Put on a dab about the size of a pea.
Now get your toothbrush ready and follow me. Okay, we have 2 minutes. Get ready.
Let's make some circles, 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 circles. Circles on all sides of your teeth. Circles on this side, circles on that. Circles on the tops where you chew on snacks. Gotta get rid of all that black. There are germs living in your mouth.
Gotta get 'em out.
And that's why we brush our teeth. Come on, brush those teeth. Go on, scrub them clean. Come on, make those pearly white shine.
Okay, we're halfway there. A little bit longer. Let's make some more
Circles, 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 circles. Circles on all sides of your teeth. Brush makes your breath smell super nice. Gotta make you smile as white as rice. So I love brushing my teeth. Oh, don't forget to brush your gums.
And don't forget your tongue.
Now we are almost done.
Let's go front, back, side to side. Front, back, and side to side. Front, back, side to side. Front, back, and side to side.
Come on, brush those teeth. Go on, scrub them clean. Come on, make those pearly white shine. Come on, brush those teeth. Go on, scrub them clean. Come on, make those pearly white shine. Oh, I love brushing my teeth.
Okay, so another part of hygiene is grooming, what we call daily or personal grooming. And that basically just means anything that helps us maintain appearance, our bodies, or, keep ourselves clean and looking good. So with grooming, we brush our hair. We want to make sure that we're cleaning all parts of our bodies. So, ears as well. It deals with shaving or removing any hair, or like trimming your beard. And then it also deals with the smells and nails grooming. So, we want to brush our hair not too often. We don't want to overdo it. But we do want to make sure that we're brushing enough to maintain knots and spread oils. So, brushing your hair is good to remove heavy product buildup. So, if you put a lot of different products in your hair, like hairspray or leave-in conditioner or anything like that, or some gel to kind of texture it or style it, want to be able to brush through it to break up the particles so they're not sitting and building up on your head or your scalp. That could be really itchy, but it could also just cause some, you know, dandruff. And um, you want to make sure that you're brushing from the bottom to the top of your head. You want to do this because it's easier to get the knots out at the bottom and to work through small portions of your hair upwards instead of starting at the top and likely making a knot worse. And then, for your ears, most people use Q-tips or, cotton swabs to clean them, but that can actually cause pain and irritation in the ear, and it can clog the ears more. So if you notice that you can't hear really well, or you're having any pain, any ringing in your ear, then that might be a sign that maybe you have some wax buildup. And you can just take a warm washcloth with just regular warm water or with a mild soap and take your finger and wipe out the any wax that you see in there. If it's really built up, then I would recommend going to see um, an ENT to look at your ears at a doctor that can help you. For shaving, or maintaining like facial hair or body hair, you can shave, you can tweeze or pluck with tweezers. So some people pluck their eyebrows or maybe some hair on their lip. Um, you can do that. You can shave with a sharp razor and make sure that it's also a clean razor, a new razor, and is a razor that only belongs to yourself. We do not want to share razors with other people because it can get your skin and your bacteria and your blood and stuff like that on it. And it is not good or hygienic to share those items with other people. So please make sure that you're using your own razor if you are using one. But other than that, you can use an electric razor, which might be easier to maneuver or to utilize. And you can also ask your safe person or someone at home or maybe a care provider for assistance if you need it to manage your hair. You do not have to do anything with the hair if you like it or it doesn't bother you. You can also leave it on your body. So just because other people do does not mean that you have to. Everyone has a right to make their own decisions about their own body. But if you do keep hair, especially on your face, you want to make sure that you're washing your beard or your facial hair, including your mustache as well. So again, just kind of like you would wash your face, make sure that it's mild soap and water, and really getting it in there thoroughly to remove any dirt, particles, food, or anything else that could get stuck in that hair. And then if you're trimming, that makes sure that we're maintaining the space around it. So if you are shaving or trimming your beard and there's hairs on the sink or in the tub or you can do it over a trash can, but just make sure that we are cleaning the space from any of the hair or debris that comes from that. Another way to practice daily grooming is to wear deodorant. So we're managing the smells from the sweat, the germs, the bacteria, and the oils on our skin. So you can apply deodorant usually again in the morning when we're getting ready. Um, or any time before we're going to be out where it's hot outside, if it's sticky, if we're going to have a lot of movement. So if you play sports or if you're going to exercise, that's also a good time to probably reapply. And finally, with your grooming, you also want to make sure that you're trimming your nails. So to have clean hands, typically we recommend cutting your nails short and scrubbing the inside underneath of your nails. You can use a little nail brush for that, or you can put them opposite direction on your hands. You can scrub your nails on your hands with the soap in that way as well. Again, just like we're doing with the hairs, if we're trimming our nails, we also want to make sure that we are doing it in a clean way and making sure that any of the clippings for nails and toenails are in the trash can and away from other people's things. To use a toilet, proper way for usage, we always want to make sure that at first we can adjust the lid. So it might be different for boys or girls, or who's using it, or how they prefer to use use a toilet. Some people like to stand, some people prefer to sit. It's totally up to you and what is comfortable and easy for you. But when we are using the bathroom, the first step is always to adjust the lid. So if the lid is closed, we want to make sure that we're opening it. If it is, if all the lids are up and we need to sit, then we would put the first one down so that we're sitting on the middle piece. And then next step is to remove any pants or unzip them and pull them down entirely, including your underwear, so that you are able to use the restroom. If you're wearing a dress, you can just pull that up as well. You can either sit, stand, and use the toilet next. And then you're going to wipe. So not everyone wipes every time they use the bathroom, but if you are, you can use toilet paper or sensitive cleansing wipes. So like toilet wipes or baby wipes. You want to always make sure that you're wiping from front to back. And you want to make sure you're doing this because the front part of your body is a clean, sterile environment. So it's free from germs and bacteria. But the back is not. So if you're wiping from back to front, you're pulling those germs and bacteria into the clean, sterile environment, and it can increase your odds of getting an infection or having any pain, irritation, or itching. So again, we just want to make sure we're doing front to back. And then when we're done wiping, you can put that in the toilet. If you're using any feminine products, or any wipes and they are not flushable, then you want to make sure you're putting any additional products in a trash can instead of the toilet. Then you want to pull up your pants when you're clean and good. You want to always close the lid before we flush, and this is to keep all the germs in the toilet in the toilet. If you flush the toilet when it's open, it can spread all those germs and bacteria throughout the bathroom, including on your toothbrush, on the sink, on the actual flusher. So we want to make sure that we are closing the lid. And then finally, we want to wash your hands. You want to wash after every single time that you use the restroom or that you're handling any private parts. And remember, we said earlier when you're washing your hands, you can use a paper towel or a napkin to close the faucet and open the door when you're done.
Pat, pat, front to back. Hey everyone, I'm Lisa Flanders. I'm a physiotherapist in Ottawa, Ontario. Today on It's Not TMI, we're going to talk about why it's so important to wipe from front to back. The urethra, which is the bladder opening, is where urine comes out of, and that's a sterile environment. The vagina is a non-sterile environment, and the anus is also a non-sterile environment. Bacteria that's found in the anus, we want to avoid getting it into the vagina or in and around the urethra. So that's why wiping from front to back is important. Even if we don't have a bowel movement, there could be lingering bacteria still sitting in and around our anus, and we want to make sure that we're not bringing that bacteria forward. So we want to think about pat, pat, front to back. There are a few ways that we can wipe, and that's what we're going to address today, particularly for those that might have mobility concerns. One of the most simple ways is once we've completed toileting, we're going to take our tissue, we're going to lift our bum, we're going to come through to the urethra, and pull all the way back. If you're experiencing a mobility concern and you're not able to wrap all the way around, you can take the tissue and you can come through the front, pushing all the way to the back, and then dropping the tissue in the toilet. When we've only urinated, we can take our tissue and just pat in the front and then drop the tissue into the toilet. Another option is to start from the front, pushing through as far as you can reach, dropping the tissue in the toilet, taking a secondary piece of tissue, reaching around, and coming through to the last back piece. Lastly, if you have any reaching concerns, there are devices that you can use to help ensure that you're wiping from front to back. They sort of act as like an extender arm, and it's something that you can purchase at your local medical supply company. I just want you to remember that a happy vulva is a healthy vulva. I really hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions that you think are TMI, just drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great day.
Alrighty. So a major thing we want to stress to go piggyback off of proper wiping is to proper handling of our private areas. So we want to make sure that we're washing our privates every single day. We want to use either plain warm water, or we can add a mild unscented soap. So something that doesn't have the smells or the fragrances. Just a plain mild soap is best to keep to use on your vulva or your penis. You can use a washcloth if you like to make it easier to scrub and clean. Remember as well, front to back when we're cleaning our bodies. If you need to clean up any semen or feminine discharge, so any of the discharge, the fluids, any body fluids from like your period, your menstruation, or your cycle in general, or from having any wet dreams, or anytime we touch and excite our bodies, anything that comes out of our bodies, any of those fluids we want to maintain properly. So to do that, we can use gentle, sensitive cleansing wipes. And you want to make sure that we're just thoroughly cleaning the area. You can pat dry with a piece of toilet paper if you need to at the end, or you can air dry. And then if you are, again, touching your body, any touching or rubbing of your privates, again, this is a private activity, but when you're doing this to manage all the fluids, you can put a towel down underneath your body on top of your mattress, and then lay on top of that so that the towel will absorb any of those fluids. You can also use a sponge to dab for any excess, any tissues or paper towels as well. You want to make sure that, again, anything that we're using is clean. So any of the towels or washcloths are clean as well. And then you can just use a plain, mild, unscented products. If you have a foreskin on your penis, so that extra skin layer, you want to just gently pull that back from your penis, and you can lightly massage it and clean it with the warm water. Any of your period products, so if you're using like a Diva cup or something that goes inside your body that you're taking out to reuse, we want to make sure that we're properly cleaning that as well. So the best practice would be to remove and put into a travel case or carrier until you can get home, or if you are home, then you can boil the silicone like Diva cup products to properly clean them. All right, when we're showering, we want to shower from head to toe. There is an example here of the steps that we would use when we're showering. So typically we wet our body first, including our hair and our body. You would choose your shower soap or gel, your body wash, and you can use it on your hand. You can use a washcloth or a sponge or a shower loofah. Any of these can help spread the soap around. You only need a small amount, and then you can scrub it on your body. You want to make sure that you're doing your face, your neck, your shoulders, your back, your chest. You also want to make sure you're getting your arms, including under your arms, your armpits, where you typically sweat a lot, and your legs and your feet. Anywhere that you tend to sweat, so behind your knees or your elbows, your armpits, your neck crevices, between your toes, are good places to make sure that you're spending a little extra time there, including behind your ears. And then we just went over cleaning genitals and your behind, but you want to make sure that you are getting those every single time that you shower. And then finally, you want to rinse off the soap and then dry off using a clean towel. If you need help remembering these steps, every time you shower, you can use this chart or a different chart that has the steps in your body parts on there, and you can keep it in the shower with you by laminating it. You can check off or mark the steps as you go, or just serve as a reminder to make sure you're going through the steps. Another good tip on how to remember how what we're using and how to shower and the steps is to line up your products in order that you plan to use them. So if you're doing your head first, you want to put your shampoo and then your body wash, and then maybe you have your conditioner last to rinse right before you get out. So those are some examples. And then you can create a shower playlist and assign different songs to different parts of our body that we're washing. So maybe one song we'll do our hair routine to. Maybe the next song we will do our face, neck, back, and arms. And then the next one we'll do our stomach, our legs, our feet, and our genitals. And then maybe we'll have one more just to rinse off our body. When we're going into a shower, what do we need? We want to make sure that we have all of their soaps that we need. If you plan to shave or do any grooming, that you have those items in there. You always want to make sure that you have your clean towel. It might be helpful to bring your new change of clothes, including new underwear, with you. And again, if you have a washcloth you plan to use, to make sure you have a clean washcloth.
Have you ever been in a scalding hot shower with a bar of soap slipping through your fingers and shampoo stinging your eyes and wondered what would happen if I never took another shower? Let's find out on today's episode of
Colossal Question.
Here's what would happen if you decided today that you were never going to shower again. Well, for starters, you'd stink. This one's pretty obvious, right? Dead skin, dirt, and all kinds of bacteria would slowly build up all over your body, causing an obnoxious odor. Is that not gross enough to get you in the shower? Well, how about brown clumps that would start growing on your skin? That's right, dirt, dust, or other disgusting microbes would slowly start to collect on your skin, causing brown growths. It's most likely to happen on parts of the body that produce the most natural oils: your armpits, neck, head, and behind the ears. Dead skin wouldn't just build up on your body, your scalp would have all sorts of problems too. We call dead skin that collects on the scalp dandruff. It's a pretty common problem even for people who shower regularly, and it causes your head to itch. But if you stopped showering altogether, well, your dandruff would go into overdrive. Your hair would get oily and dirty and would start to look matted and full of knots like unintentional dreadlocks. As if that wasn't bad enough, the skin on your face would have the worst acne attack of all time, giving you terrible pimples and pus bumps from all the oil buildup. But if just being really, really gross isn't enough to keep you showering, what about the effect it has on your health? That's right, showers don't just keep you looking and smelling nice, they also keep you healthy. We're all taught that if we get a little scrape or cut, it's best to wash it off. That's because dirt and bacteria can cause an infection. But if you never shower, getting a small cut is way more likely to get infected because of all the extra bacteria crawling around on your skin. So while it might be annoying to have a bath or shower regularly, it's way less annoying than losing a limb to infection. And now you know what would happen if you never showered again. Comment below if you have a question you'd like to know the answer to. And don't forget to subscribe for more episodes of
Colossal Question!
Alrighty. So also part of hygiene is having clean, fresh clothes. So we change our clothes anytime there's stains or dirt on it. You can typically tell when there are like actual dirt clumps on it. But even if you've worn it, and especially if you've sweat in them, then you want to make sure that we're changing them and putting these in a dirty pile. Anytime we're showering, especially anytime we're getting our bodies clean, we want to put clean, fresh clothes on afterwards. So, what do we do with our clothes when they're dirty? We want to put them in a hamper or a bag somewhere else, um, away from the clean clothes in order to have them wash or to wash them. And changing clothes involves removing clothes. So, is this a public or private activity? Think about where we're doing, where we would be changing, and what are we showing. So, typically, um, changing is a private activity, and we would do it alone or behind closed doors, probably in a bathroom, bedroom, or changing room, with a closed or locked door. Other times it can be done in like a changing or locker room, maybe at a gym, or if you belong to, again, like a sports team or something, you might be doing that as you travel and practice sports, but typically you want to do this in private. Also, you want to put on new fresh clothes in the morning, and then typically put on pajamas or loungewear around bedtime. So those will also be clean, fresh clothes. Dirty clothes smell, but they also carry germs and dirt. So that is why we want to make sure that they are getting cleaned before we wear them again. And then just like our clothes need to be cleaned, we also need to make sure that we're cleaning our bed sheets. Our bed sheets, we use them every single day. And if our bodies are dirty, then we are making our bed sheets dirty. So we want to make sure that we are cleaning our bed sheets about once a week to maintain good hygiene. All right. And it's easier to have and keep routines by practicing them and making them part of our everyday activities. So it's easier to stick to habits when we have a routine, when we have steps to follow, and when we do them around the same time of day. You can learn routines by practicing activities in the same order. So we have a morning routine here and we have a nighttime routine. Let's think about some things that we would typically do in the morning. Pretty much every day when we're getting up and when we're getting started in our day, there's things that we all do and we do frequently and to practice good hygiene. So we would go to the bathroom and then make sure that we are washing our hands. We always brush our teeth in the morning. And then again, to help with pimples or acne and keep our face clean, we want to make sure we're washing our face. Then we choose our clothes and get changed and ready for the day. And then lastly, we will probably style or groom our hair. At night, when we're done for the day, we will take our clothes off and change. we will shower and clean our bodies. When we're out of the shower, it's best to brush your hair or comb your hair to prevent any knots. And then you want to dry off and put your pajamas on or clean, fresh clothes to sleep in. And then typically, when we're done eating and settled for bed, we'll brush our teeth and wash our face one last time. To help us building these routines and making these activities part of our habits, habits mean we do it often and regularly. You can set alarms on your phone for maybe the same time every day. So if we wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning, then maybe we'll have brush your teeth at 7:15. And maybe we'll have get ready and dressed around 7:30. And then at nighttime, maybe after dinner is when we will take our clothes off and shower. So maybe around 6 or 6:30 p.m. Or we can use an event or an activity as a marker to remind us to do something. So if we know after dinner every night it's time to brush our teeth and bathe, then we'll know as we're wrapping up dinner, there's something I should do. Maybe I should get changed and bathe. You can also have a checklist. So this is a checklist that you can use. You could print out, or you can find another similar one, and it's labeled in the steps, so you can check it off after you complete it, and just find what works for you. So routines work best when it works best for you and your schedule and your preferences. If you prefer to shower at night so that you can get in your comfy clothes afterwards, then that's okay. Some people like to shower in the morning before they get dressed and ready for the day because it helps them wake up. So you can learn and decide what's best for you in order to make these habits work for you.